Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Dustin Briggs. Welcome to the second episode of the Dustin Briggs Show right here on YouTube.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. This show is being posted there. Got a great show for you here tonight. I'm going to have one of our guests here is a pretty big time superstar here in the Gulf Coast area, Gulf Coast Wrestling. He is a performer up at XW2000. He also has performed at numerous other organizations here in the area, and he is a current heavyweight champion of the world, which is kind of cool. Going to be talking to the Polynesian Prince here tonight on the Dustin Briggs Show, but before we get to that, there's a couple things I want to get off my chest, get off my mind, give you an update of some of the stuff that's going on in my life. Of course, you remember the last episode I told you I'm taking some college classes, trying to get educated, if you want to call it that. I tell you what, being a college student is not easy. When I was active duty, I used to think and watch on Facebook and social media and see all of these guys and girls talking about, oh, it's so hard. And I'm like, come on, wake up, enter the real world. School's not that hard. Mark your calendars, because Dustin Briggs is admitting that he was mistaken. Being a full-time college student is hard. However, it's not the school that's hard. The hard part about it is being a full-time college student with a full-time job/career. That's what makes this difficult for me. Many of you know I run my own landscaping company. I'm dedicated in the gym. I'm in the Air Force Reserves. I'm training to become one of the greatest wrestlers here on the Gulf Coast. That's a lot of stuff to do at once. On top of all that, I'm taking 3 classes. So, sociology, biology, and introduction to microcomputer applications, which I talked about last show. So, with all this stuff going on, I'm running around with my head chopped off, and I'll be damned if I didn't forget that this week was midterm exams. So, with online classes, I don't know if any of you take online classes, but with online classes, a lot of stuff is posted for weeks at a time. So you really have no excuse to drop the ball. Unless your name's Dustin Briggs. I dropped the ball. Took my midterm exam about 3 days too late for sociology. I did my biology midterm exam. I submitted that with a half hour to spare before the deadline. And we haven't taken one yet for my computer class. Right now we're getting pretty deep into Word with stuff I didn't even know that Word could do. So anyway, that's what's taking up a lot of my time right now, is school and this frickin' balancing act of school, work, wrestling, all that kind of stuff. So the point being, I'm finding that I started to lose sight of what was important. I'm letting myself be pulled in so many different directions. I'm running myself into the ground, and I'm losing sight of the fact that, I'm working, I'm burning time to make money, but at the end of the day, if you're not careful, you're going to look back and you're going to want to be able to buy more time. So I'm going to give you the message of the day here at the beginning of the show, and that is, make the most of every day that you have, live it to the fullest, but don't lose sight of what's important, spending time with family, friends, pets, things of that nature. So that's really what I wanted to get into with you today, and just get that message out there. It's not a bad thing to bust your ass to make $1, but don't do it to a point where that's your only purpose in life. So that's my message for y'all today. What else we got going on? I'm no longer being trained by Jaden Steele. I have switched gears, so to speak, and I am now lucky enough to be a part of XW2000's Academy, and we'll talk about that here in this podcast later on once we get into the body of the podcast. So, one last thing, we got some great guests coming up. Gonna have some other members from the Academy on the show. We're also gonna have one half of the former tag team champions, Six City Saints, on the show. That's probably gonna drop week after next. And we're going to have some other guests that are not necessarily wrestling related, so definitely stay tuned. I think you're really going to enjoy what we've got going. I've got a new microphone coming. I know this one sounds like crap. I got a new one coming. It'll be here shortly, hopefully for the next show. So Anyway, got a great show for you here lined up. Hope you enjoy. This is the Dustin Briggs Show. Alright, welcome back. This is the Dustin Briggs Show. I am your host, Dustin Briggs, and we are being joined on the phone here by a man who is a former APW heavyweight champion, XW 2000 heavyweight champion, and the current new XWX heavyweight and U.S. Continental champion. And he is also a member of the Samoan Dynasty and nephew of WWE Hall of Famer Wild Samoan Sika, Polynesian Prince. Welcome to the show, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me on, man. Really do appreciate it.
How you doing? How's everything going tonight on this rainy night?
It's wet. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I'd say that. It's wet for sure. So we're just gonna get right into this. Tell me a little bit about your history, how you got into the business.
Well, as you said, my uncle is the WWE Hall of Famer Wild Samoan Sika, and I pretty much grew up around the business. Never got into the business. Let me say it like that, because a lot of people say they grew up around the business, but just because you grew up around doesn't mean you were into it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It wasn't until later on in my teenage years that I really found interest in professional wrestling and wanting to be a wrestler. So midway through high school, I kind of decided to give it a try, and because football was no good for me. But my late uncles, my other uncles, Eki, also known as Umaga, and Matt, better known as Rosie, they helped me along the way also.
Oh, cool.
They helped me hone my craft. Not just me, but other members of the family also. So Usos and Roman Reigns, they've helped us do our thing, and now everybody's doing it, you know?
Yeah, man, I would definitely say that y'all have quite a dynasty there. You know, it's definitely in the blood for sure, in the bloodline. So, you know, I've seen you perform, of course, up at XW 2000 up there in you know, mainly y'all perform up there in Milton, but, you know, I hear you're expanding out throughout the area. How long have you been working up there?
Oh, man. I've actually been on and off working the Panhandle the last 14 years.
Wow.
And, yeah. I've seen the top, I've seen the ups and I've seen the downs, and I've in the in-betweens of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that's anywhere in any business that's you're part of.
Right. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of how do I want to say this? There's a lot of promotions around the country, you know, and I don't have to tell you about back in the day. You had the territories and all that kind of stuff. How do you feel? How do you feel the business has changed in a way, you know, either positively or negatively, when it comes to that there's no territories anymore for people other than the indies? You know, there's no huge territories anymore now that, you know, that there's a few big games in town.
Well, honestly, and this is not just it's there's a few of us. Oh, by the way, big shout out to the Onyx. Love you guys. I believe that the whole territory thing was gold, man. Like right now, I feel like the indie scene isn't as big as it should be because everybody's working against each other. Nobody's taking the opportunity and the chance to work with each other. You know, we over here at XW 2000, we have great partnerships with IPW and over here at the Revolt Wrestling Ryan Fury. We have that chemistry to be like, okay, if we need the help, we'll get it. The territory days, dude, everybody knew everybody. You wrestled down here and over here in Pensacola, man, you wrestled down here and you were covered. Everybody from Jacksonville, Gainesville, wherever in the South would be here. Territories were very important because that was the only way you could get seen.
Right.
I mean, nobody knew Hulk Hogan unless it's for Gagne, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
Okay. Nobody knew those guys at all because their territories. You could go to one place and expect that person to be there. Nowadays, I mean, everybody's separated so much and booked in so many different places. It's almost like they're not being used the right way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. And something I want to add to that, is you said earlier how people, everybody's working against each other, and I think that's really a detriment to the business as a whole. I listen to, and you know this, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and just the other day on the Ross Report, shout out to Jim Ross. I'm sure he'll never hear this, but nonetheless, um, he was talking about how he doesn't have ill will for any promotion, whether it's Impact Wrestling, WWE, New Japan, ROH, any of those, because if one promotion does well, that's good for the wrestling business as a whole. If
Right.
if one person's making money, we're all making money. So I definitely agree with that, and that leads me to my next question for you. Um, there's obviously a lot of people in the business that are in the business for the right reasons, and there's people that are in the business for the wrong reasons. Um, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some people who I'm just gonna go out and say it. There's some people who bring trainees in for their own advancement or to try to advance their own careers as opposed to try to enrich the business. And I do want to shout out to XW2000 because, like I said in the open of this show, I recently switched gears and was fortunate enough to start working with y'all over at the Academy, at Onyx Academy and XW2000. So again, thank you for that. But I wanted to get your opinion on people who are out there really to just try to use others to further their career as opposed to try to lift each other up and help the business as a whole.
Oh man. So you're gonna do that to me, huh, Dustin?
I'm
You're
just
gonna do that to me, huh?
I'm just asking questions. I'm just an advocate.
You know, I hate right now. I'm going to talk on the academy, the XW2000 Academy, and the Onyx family, and our trainees, which Dustin, JJ Smith, Kevin Sampson, Van Christopher. You guys, we strive, and when I mean we, I talk about Marcus Gibbs, I talk about my beautiful bride, Chelsea, I talk about Adesina, T.A. Jones, Darius Kane, and Nathan Crown. Now obviously the big dog, Pops. We give my Uncle Sika, we don't want to, and Sonny Reed, we love you. We don't want to use y'all for our advantage because we've already gotten ours. We're getting it in now. But our thing is the way we see fit that a trainer needs to do is to advance the student. So if we see the things that need to be worked on with y'all, we're not going to take advantage of that and use it against y'all. You know what I mean? We're not going to use that poorly to where we're like, oh, this is what you're doing. Instead, we're like, look, try this a different way. Sit your seat here. I mean, you know how that is. A certain individual that try to show some other guys and want some of our students about that.
Right.
And it's small stuff that we try to show everybody. Because if you guys succeed and learn something, we succeed, and that's our pleasure in this.
And
we want y'all to be.
And that's the thing, you're in a way you're preserving your own legacy, and you're preserving the business that we all love, all of us that are in it, because you're starting to build. I don't want to say the foundation, but you're helping to pave the way and bring those along the path that you've helped to pave, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. I'm just gonna throw this out there. This certain guy, he kind of was showing some people the wrong things, and the small details he was leaving out were the big details that other people would see and not book these individuals.
Right.
Dustin, when you came in, what were some of the things how wide did your eyes open to see the change and the difference between what you were learning and what you are learning now?
Well, I mean, it's 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 things that I feel because I've been in the damn business. If you want to call, I'm gonna say I've been in the business for about a year now, and there's certain fundamentals and mechanics that I feel I should have already known. Um, Maybe they were taught to me, and they weren't taught as eloquently as they should have, so that I pick them up, or they weren't taught to me at all. So the biggest thing I noticed when I got to Onyx is, it really, like you said, it really is a family atmosphere. My first day there, each and every one of y'all were very welcoming. You wanted to obviously see what I could do, see if I was worth your time. Um, but just the mechanics, and I've worked more matches there than I have in the past year. So that's one of the huge things for me, and that's why I'm so grateful for y'all to invite the Dustin Briggs to come over there and roll around in your ring a little bit. Because, like I said, I've been there for about 2 weeks now, and in those 2 weeks, I feel like I've learned and improved myself personally in ways that I didn't for the past 12 months. So I definitely
And
attribute that to y'all.
no, man, see, we'll never take that credit because it's always your hard work, determination, dedication to this business that gets you that credit, man.
Right, and that's the thing, and that kind of leads me to my next question. Um, Anyone who's been a wrestling fan longer than I'd say a year and a half knows that our business is built on one word, that being respect. So
Right.
tell me in your words, how do you think respect plays a role in the business? How do you think some people are disrespecting the business? Maybe not in the grand scope of the WWE, but here locally, how do you think respect is playing a role in our area here locally?
Well, the first thing a lot of respect is in the wrestling world is wherever you go, no matter what you're doing, when you walk through that door to whatever venue you're at, whatever promotion you're working for, you're shaking everybody's hand. You're showing face. That is the most important thing at the beginning because if you don't, I'm going to tell you this, you ain't going to get an invite back. You're going to get all the names you called, this, that, pricks, ass, and all these things. You're going to get called these things. And you're going to wonder why you're not getting it because that's your first line of disrespect. A lot of people, the way I feel like people are disrespecting the business here in the Indies, like around here, is man, they're not taking their training into consideration of what was laid before them. We got guys out here that are high flyers, right? And they can't work a chain. They can't work chain wrestling. They can't wrestle chain for some reason. They couldn't do a put you in the headlock, a reverse hammerlock, out to a face drop or whatever. They can't do those things.
Yeah.
Those people won't take the time to practice that. To me, that's the biggest disrespect of wrestling there is because that's where it started. It started on the ground.
Do you feel like Do you feel like the business has gotten to a point where more people care about getting their shit in and making themselves look good? The high spots, the flying through the ropes, all that kind of stuff. Do you feel like the business has gotten to a point where that's more important than actually telling a good story in the ring?
Certain, I can't say everybody. I can say certain individuals. You'll always know somebody who has the right mind in this business because they'll always ask you, so what do you want to do? Mm-hmm. What is it that you have in mind? How do you want to work this? Well, we can do this, this, and that. How do they'll come to compromise about things. A person will come up to you, look, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and then you this, I think, yeah, some people do that, and some others, but mostly, probably, that ratio is like 70-30 of more people trying to get it in than those that are trying to make everybody look better.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's talk about that then. there's a lot of things. I've seen you in the ring, very impressive. When I watch you work in the ring, your footwork for a man your size, and I mean that respectfully. Um, your footwork for a man your size is ridiculous, in a good way. Like it's crazy. Um, and so when you see stuff like that, I really break that down to the fundamentals. And when I saw you, I had no idea that you were part of the Samoan dynasty. Didn't really know anything about that from your personal life. Um, but even talking to you for the time I've known you, you have never used that as a way to get yourself over. As far as this is who my family is. Now, there's a difference between being proud of your family lineage, and there's a difference between that and using that to get yourself over. Um, do you feel like that's kind of disrespectful to the business, also, where you try to use your own lineage to try to make yourself look better than others?
Yes, I feel like that is disrespectful, especially if that person who says they're part of, Joe Schmo's lineage and they're really a bad worker. You
Right.
know, me, I'll never say, look, yeah, my family's this and that, so I should get booked just because of their name. I don't, I don't want to ride the coattails of my family, but I want people to know that there's still respect down the line, regardless of where I go. My biggest thing is having to follow in those footsteps and trying to make sure that people understand that that name's there, but I'm also trying to put my name out there.
Hmm.
I love my uncles. I love my family. The one thing I was taught by my Uncle Eki was always be humble. You never know who you can come across in this business that'll help you out one day, that'll have your back whenever something really falls apart. He told me always show that and be as athletic as you can be to your top potential. He always told me steal the show. The one thing he told me was be humble and steal the show.
Right, and I think
I'm
I
Go ahead.
think. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's just one thing that I've always lived by from somebody, because his words meant a lot to me, and so did my uncle Matt, Rosie, Matt, Anawai, Fatu, Umaga, and Rosie, Jamal and Rosie, whatever you want to call them. They always kind of try to guide us kids in the right way of working in this business, and always keeping ties and not burning bridges. I mean, shoot, people go to the WWE and they come back and they got nowhere to go just because of what they've done in the past.
Hmm.
I'm not going to do that to my friends. I won't do those to people that I consider my family. I'm always going to keep them close. I'm always going to be considerate of situations that come up. If I love this business, that means I love my family more. And I have to love them in order to love everything else in life.
Right.
Sorry, got a little deep.
That was deep, man. It's getting deep. I gotta go put my boots on here, but that's you got a good point, man. And because I think the fans know, they know our business. They know the dangers that are in this business, and I think that's where a lot of the respect comes from the boys in the locker room and the fans. Is every match could be your last match. You know what I mean? So
Right.
there's got to be that respect there to the point where I respect you enough to throw me off the top rope and not kill me, and in that same respect, you would do the same for me. So um, you talked about burning bridges. You know, the WWE has been known for a long time for saying anything can happen in the WWE, right? And
Right.
never say never. I mean, if you look back in history, who would have thought the Ultimate Warrior would return to WWE and be entered into their Hall of Fame? Because if you think a few short years back, they had a DVD out that was trying to bury the guy with the ultimate destruction of the Ultimate Warrior. And then,
That's
bridges are mended, and he's back. He was back, thankfully, before he passed away, and made it into the WWE Hall of Fame. So I really think burning bridges is an issue in the business, because if you go out and piss a lot of people off and burn bridges, you're not going to get signed for work. And if you're not working, ring rust is a wrestler's worst enemy. Is that correct?
Yeah, hey, that's true. Anybody can. You can always. I mean, some of the best players in the NBA, they're always training every day of the year. You know, that's one sport that's year round, just like professional wrestling. You can't come off a jump. You can't be one of the best shooters in the game and lay off for 2 years, come back and thinking you're still shooting at 75% from the free throw line or the 80, whatever. Because you're falling. I don't care who you are, you're going to fall. Michael Jordan came back. He went from having scoring, what is it, like 20-something points a game and then falling down to 18. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna have ring rust is the biggest enemy for anybody in the business that leaves. It don't matter if you leave for a year, if you leave for 5 years or 20 years, unless you're Ricky Steamboat.
Right.
Ricky is a true dragon, a real dragon.
And every time he steps in the ring, you know, if it's for a reunion show or whatever, it's like he hasn't missed a beat, you know. And we talked about let's go back to respect real quick, because I feel like it's a really important thing to hit on. I talked in my last podcast about one person, in my opinion, that is synonymous with the word respect, and that being The Undertaker.
Yeah.
You know, that's a guy, you talk about ring rust, where, you know, towards the end of his career, and this is me speculating that his career is over, which you never know with him, towards the end of his career, he would only work one match a year, you know, WrestleMania. But he had I think he had such respect for the business and such determination for the business that even though he only worked that one match, he got himself in ring shape enough to put on a match that generally stole the show every single year. So, you know, I think that's just a testament to someone's dedication to the business. And in my opinion, if you're dedicated to the business, if you respect the business, you're not going to burn bridges and bury other people and all that, because at the end of the day, if you make money, I'm making money, and vice versa.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
Well, let's shift gears here a little bit, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what your future plans are. What is your end game? Is it the WWE Hall of Fame? Is it to try to go to the NFL? I mean, what's your end game?
My end game is just to be able to take care of my family, have them live comfortable, man. Ultimately, every wrestler on the Indies, no matter who you are, unless you're DDG, who says you always wait for your dad over at on the indie scene and never want to progress on the TV and WWE. My dad. Anyway, yeah, man. Every indie worker's ultimate dream is to be WWE. I would love. There's nothing that and I'm not downgrading myself. I'm not throwing my name in the dirt, but I can tell you this: there's nothing that I can do that hasn't already been done by my family to be able to enter into the Hall of Fame. I can only mimic what they do and try to master what they did, but it will never look as good as they did because of them being the original. From High Chief Peter Moskid to the Wild Samoans, you know, Junior, Big Sam, Little Sam, TK, everybody, they all were, Uncle Rodney, Big Yoko, all those people came before us and set the bar for us to try to reach. So to me, the WWE, that's my end game. That's where I want to be. I want to be there. I want to be on the road, but I also want to be able to make sure that I can call home to my family and they can pick up a phone and they're comfortable. There's food in the fridge. Lights are still on. We ain't got to depend on anybody for rides or nothing. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, man. I got you. So, okay, so if you go to the WWE, give me 3 names of people you'd like to work with. If you only got to work 3 matches, who would you want to step in the ring with and why?
Let's see. Wow. Another one of those, huh, Dustin?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good question. Right now, if it was the WWE, I would love, man. This would be awesome, man. If I could get a chance to work Dolph Ziggler and just try to pick that dude's mind and see where he's at, so I can learn a million other things from him. To me, Dolph is he's one of their top performers, but he knows what it takes to get everybody else better. He's there. He's the ultimate entertainer. He's a great wrestler. I mean, the guy he's an amateur, correct? He was an amateur, wasn't he?
He was. He was an amateur. I believe he won some championships where he went to school at.
Like he never got pinned or something like that at Kent State, something like that.
Yeah, something crazy, man.
And that's one guy, because I'd like to learn things from him, inside, outside of the ring. I'd love to ride around with Randy Orton for a little bit, work him, or like someone else, Randall. Dropping first names dropping first names like they're really pals, Like
yeah.
They each other at 5 in the morning.
They went fishing last week.
Yeah, that's what they did. And let me see. Just for shits and giggles, just gonna throw a little bit of this out there, man. And this is not WWE. This is ROH, Ring of Honor, man. Adam Cole. I'd love to work Adam Cole.
I have heard good things. I've heard amazing things about Adam Cole. I haven't gotten to see any of his work, but I've heard some really good things about him.
Man, he's a Panhandle boy. He's from Panama City, so.
Really? Did not know that.
He's from Panama City, man. Funny thing, what was it? Before he really made it big, Adam Cole used to come to XW 2000 back in the day.
Wow. That's cool.
He used to wrestle up and back and forth here, XW 2000, man, with the likes of Cameron Frost and BTY Kobe Godwin. I just threw his name out there just because he was one of those guys back then around the Gulf Coast. Yeah, he used to ride up and down these roads like that, dude, right here.
So, do you think Adam Cole will end up in WWE someday?
Yeah, I believe he would. I mean, I don't know why he hasn't made it, but I guess it's probably that aura of being at ROH. You know how hard it is to leave TNA and ROH to get over there.
Oh, yeah. Yep, because
there's bad habits they're learning, and then they try to tweak them, and certain people get on their ego horse, and don't feel like learning it a different way.
And I'm not throwing you under the bus here. This is just an observation by Dustin Briggs. I'm a little surprised that AJ Styles was not somebody that you would want to work with. That was not on your top 3.
I know. AJ Styles. Maybe TNA AJ Styles.
Really?
Like original TNA AJ Styles.
You think his style has changed quite a bit since he's come to WWE?
Yeah, of course, man. To me, now, he's got everything down, man. He's got it all down now, but I want to get the kid before that,
Right.
I want to be able to be in that ring and hear him and what he's got planned then. I mean, shit, it took him 10 years to get here, man.
There's some people in the Gulf Coast that are going to remain nameless that have said they think they could step in the ring with AJ right now and tear the house down.
So, are you going to go nameless, or is that also stipulated for me that I have to stay nameless?
Oh no, you can name whoever you want to name. That's fine.
Well, I'm gonna say because he talked about my family member saying that he's boring and he doesn't get over. First of all, Jaden Steele, man, look, dude, great job, dude. You always come through and you're able to do the job. Nobody can do the job better than you, Jaden Steele. Remember that. Yeah, that was a quick quick burn on you for a little bit. Really? AJ Styles, you think if he could work AJ Styles, he would have been there before AJ Styles.
I mean, I think AJ is one of the greatest workers that they've got in the world today. With the exception of, do you watch any of New Japan Pro Wrestling's work? Do you watch any of their stuff?
I watch some of it, yes.
They've got, what is his name? Cody Rhodes just won the title or no, he didn't win the title. Is it Okada? I think the guy's name is Okada.
Yeah.
He's insane, man. Okada, Kenny Omega, they've got some workers over there that are. There's no way that my fat ass could get in the ring and do the kind of flips and stuff that they're doing over there. It's crazy. So, um, I'm. Go ahead, man.
Well, yeah, you're talking about New Japan, and that same individual, Jaden Steele, gone fishing with Randall over the weekend. He couldn't last because and he'd have to go over there and learn what AJ did over in New Japan. What everybody learned in New Japan. If you didn't wrestle, there's no way you can be a good wrestler. And I know this sounds really, really like kind of messed up, but I feel like if you can't go to Japan and learn and get over there, then I don't think you can get over here, come back here stateside and get over here, because it's totally different in Japan, and you're learning over there. You know, you're completely learning. AJ Styles, the Bullet Club. I mean, old wrestlers are always running through Japan.
Yeah, and it's the crowd's different from what I've never been to Japan, but I've heard the crowd is different, just the way they react to what's going on in the ring.
Yeah.
So you've really got to know how to work a crowd. So some of the things one of the few things that Jaden Steele taught me was well, it's a short list, but it was he started to try to teach me psychology in the ring. Now, you can tell me if I know anything or not. You're not going to hurt my feelings. But talk to me a little bit about, the importance of being able to hold an audience in the palm of your hand and take them on that thrill ride, that emotional thrill ride, as you're telling your story in the ring.
Man, a lot of wrestlers, a lot of people that I know says wrestling is 90% psychology, or psychological, my bad, 90% psychological and 10% physical.
Yeah.
Man, you can sell, just over the weekend, two good friends of mine, Adam Rose was in a tag match with some friends of mine, Zane Stevens. He tagged with Zane Stevens against Cali Man and Cameron Thomas. Now, everybody knows Adam Rose's thing is the lollipop sucker, right?
Right.
So what he does is, him and Zane Stevens pull out suckers, and they stick them up the bottom half. They stick it up Cameron Thomas and Cali Man's ass. Now, dude, how awkward would you feel about selling that? Incredibly. But it's sold. They sold it perfectly. They're jumping up and down. They squeeze their butt cheeks so that, so it looked real. They grabbed the hands and they rode it like it was a horse.
I can't say I would have willingly sold that, but
well, then it would have been forced. I tell you that.
Yeah, it would have been a shoot real quick, I'm sure.
But the thing about it is, man, they sold it. The psychology at that point was, now I gotta do this, and I gotta make it look good. I gotta make it like this damn sucker just went all the way up to the fingertips, So psychology is so important. If you can't sell a headlock, you're not doing your job. If you can't sell a wrist lock, you're not doing your job.
Right.
Okay. Do you remember a couple weeks back when you first came in, that first day you came in, you and Van were sitting down. What did Chelsea tell y'all about that flower?
Yeah, the flower is in your hand, You can, if you, I can't remember the exact words. I remember the essence of what she said. If you...
Well,
Go ahead.
Lucky for you, she's here and she can say it.
Well, there you go, Chelsea. Remind my gray-haired ass exactly what you said on with the flower in the palm of the hand. And anybody that's listening right now that wants to get into wrestling, that is currently in wrestling, listen to this, because this is some real shit that you need to hear.
Okay, so basically what I told you is, Imagine a flower that's sitting in the palm of your hand. If the flower represents what you want in life, basically your whole wrestling career. If you hold the flower too tightly in your hand, what happens to it?
You crush
it.
Right.
It's completely destroyed. If you hold it too loosely, it'll fly away. But if you hold it just right in the palm of your hand, your career will blossom. It will bloom into a beautiful, beautiful flower. And you will hold it dearly to your heart for the rest of your life. And that's what you have to do with the psychology of the wrestling world. You have to hold it just right in the palm of your hand to get anywhere you want to be.
And there you have it. Very well spoken. And, I'm going to add to that. If you have said flower in the palm of your hand, and you're using that hand to bitch slap everyone who's helped you along the way, you're also going to crush the flower. And you're also going to crush your career. Because you're not going to get any work. You're going to be sitting at the house wondering why nobody's calling. So I'm going to add my little Dustin Briggs twist to that. But for real, on a serious note, that's great advice for anybody that wants to get in the business, even out of the business. Anybody in life, that's good. That's good stuff to have.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears here a little bit because I feel like this could be a quick conversation. That'd be interesting. NFL or NCAA?
You know what? I'm a big Seahawks fan, man. I love the NFL. I always follow them. I pay the stats is what I follow. But NCAA, I'm more into that, man. I love the rankings. I love everything around that, man. I hope that's what you're talking about. But
yeah, because I've had this debate with a lot of my friends. Some of my friends are diehard NFL fans. Me, man, I could sit my ass at the house on a Saturday from 11 o'clock when the games start until midnight when the last one goes off. It does not matter who's playing. I just love college football. Personally, I'm a Purdue Boilermaker fan. We have had nothing to cheer for since Drew Brees graduated, but damn it, I'm still a fan. So, I was just wondering, who's your NCAA team? Do you have a team, or are you just kind of just a fan in general?
Well, I do have a fan, and let me put it like this before I throw this out there. I'm not a bandwagon fan. I don't jump on other people's teams because we have a losing season. I'm a Seattle everything fan. I'm a Seattle Mariners fan. I was a Seattle Supersonics fan when we had the team, but when they moved, not so much. Seahawks fan, but my college team is the University of Washington Huskies. Those guys I rode with them all the way through. I was probably the only guy all of Pensacola, probably all through the Panhandle, in the state of Florida, that was cheering for Washington when they played Alabama this past year.
No, I'll tell you, I was right there cheering with you, and I don't care how many listeners I lose because of this. I hate Alabama more than I would hate drinking boiling hot tea water. I mean, it's... I cannot stand to hear Roll Tide. I can't stand to see that damn flag flying. I was right there with you.
The funny thing is we had no brother in my house. We were listening to the game on the radio. And when we threw that first touchdown, oh, man, I'm so happy. So happy. And that was the only touchdown. After that, when they threw those 3-4 picks, I was so mad. I was like, because they kept running the same play. But my boy Ross, he went to the NFL, so he's good. We lost a few key players, but we'll be back. And yeah, Alabama, that's Chelsea's team. I wish you said you're fired because you said that.
Well, Chelsea, don't kill me tomorrow. Don't kill me tomorrow. It's nothing personal. My issue is with, and this is a generalization, my issue is with a good majority of the fans who I happen to be friends with, who I hear Roll Tide like 20 times a day, and it just...
Well, it's better than seeing that FSU chop, man, I'll tell you that much.
The FSU chop is another one. And
Wow.
Chelsea's gonna be mad at me for this, but damn it, I'm gonna say it anyway. With the exception of when Stone Cold helped Mankind win the WWF title on Monday Night Raw from The Rock. I'm sure all of us remember that.
Right.
The loudest pop I've ever given in my life was the Iron Bowl when Auburn ran that field goal back for a touchdown.
That happened years ago.
Tell you what, if it was on record, it would have been like 108 yards, but NCAA doesn't record that far. They only count 100 yards back in the. So. That was a good game nonetheless, though.
It was a good game. I popped, and that moment will live in infamy in Dustin Briggs' mind. And I'm sure tomorrow, when Chelsea's making me run the ropes for 20 minutes, I'm sure I'll be thinking about it then as well. So, but hey, we're gonna wrap this up here in a little bit, man. Tell me what you got going on here in the future. You got any bookings coming up, or what?
Yeah, I go and defend my XWX heavyweight title and the U.S. Continental title. What was it? The 22nd, July 22nd. I go out to Bonifay, I believe it is. July 16th, we got a show for XW 2000. We're doing some big things. The XW 2000 Wrestling Academy. We got major help from all of our trainers: Marcus Gibbs, T.A. Jones, Darius Kane, my lovely wife Chelsea, Nathan Crown. We got people involved out of Cena with the girls and the females and all that. Sheikah, my Uncle Sheikah coming through. Sonny Reed with the help on the building, man. We got all these things going good for us, man. Our trainees, you, Dustin, yourself, Jackie, Kevin, Van, these people, and Sonny, everybody's coming in. We're doing our thing. We're trying to make it big, and right now we're progressing. And there's a lot of people out there that claim they're the best on the Gulf Coast. Jadesville sucks. Hashtag that, by the way. Yeah, man, we're just trying to do good, dude. Marcus Gibbs, THO, everybody that's there, it's a family, like you said. We love everybody. We try to take care of ourselves, try to take care of our family whenever things are needed. But before we do end this, dude, psychology is major because without psychology, you don't have wrestling. I can tell you that now.
Yeah, that's true.
Psychology plays so much into the ring. If you can't learn the psychology of whatever's going on, then you're done. There's no need to be a wrestler because if you don't learn that, then you don't learn the true groundwork, the basics of the industry.
Well, that's the thing, and that's what I was trying to get with, with as a fan, and this is as me talking as a mark. I'm sitting here watching Monday Night Raw on TV. As someone who watched in the 80s a little bit, I was really more of an Attitude Era baby. From watching just the raw emotion from when the glass breaks and Stone Cold runs down that ramp and just beats the hell out of somebody. And It makes you want to start beating the hell out of somebody in the living room. I don't necessarily feel that emotion anymore because I feel like, and I know times change, things evolve. It just kind of feels like nowadays it's more about how many times can I fly through the middle of the ropes.
Right.
And that's one thing that you guys do teach well at XW, at the Onyx Academy, is it's important to make every move you do count. There needs to be a reason for that move to be happening. Now, right. I do want to give a shout out. I got to give a shout out to Jackie, JJ. She has amazing talent, in my opinion. Just from what I've seen her do in the ring, the Hurricane Ranas that she's doing, holy crap! I mean, that's crazy.
Wait, hold on. Suicide, man, my bad. I almost forgot about you, man. He's another one of the trainers that helps us out a lot too, and he's the one that's been working with JJ and her Hurricane Ranas and her flips and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and that's that. I was going to bring him up too. That's where I was going with that. Is the Hurricane Ranas that she does are on point. Now, I saw Suicide work the same show that I first saw you work, and I was like, damn. It's like, this guy, I can't believe him, and the Samoan guy in the ring, because I could tell you were Samoan, but I didn't make any connections. I was like, I can't believe him and the Samoan guy in the ring, they're not in WWE. And I mean that. That's a shoot. That's not me blowing smoke up anybody's ass. You know, that's real shit right there. So for real, Soldier, man, you gave me a lot of input at Training Monday, and I do appreciate that. And Kevin also, man, and I gotta give a shout out to Van. Gotta give a shout out to Van. Even though you flaked out on me because you had some real world work going on, and I got my ass kicked Monday night, I forgive you.
Twice.
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 Twice, by the way. I had to take the H bomb. That's okay, though. That's okay. I'm sure I'll see you Friday, and you'll make it up to me. I'm sure you will. And Marcus, I got to put Marcus over. That's my trainer. Marcus is doing a hell of a job. He has so much knowledge for the business. So let me ask you this question. If there are people that are listening that want to get into the business, if they wanted to try out for the academy, how would they go about doing that?
They can reach us on Facebook at the Onyx Pro Club on Facebook. They could go to XW 2000 official, XW 2000 Academy. They can go to either one of those three. Man, they can even contact me if they wanted to. If they feel like they want to do that, they can come up to our shows, which again is July 16th at the Stanley Rose Auditorium in Milton, Florida. That's where those shows will be. They can come up there. Now, mind you, the tryouts, they're not free. You know, they're going to cost you $25 to come try out. Come up there, you do it. See what we can do for you. Regardless if we're let me tell you like this. We're the type of industry that we want this place to come back to where it was. We're not just trying to take anybody just like, you know, any Gene Steele or anybody like that. Sorry. Or like he says, gas station workers or people like, we want people that have the look, that got the determination, and that mostly have the heart for this business, man, that are going to not waste our time or waste your time or any of the other trainees or the trainers' time. We want them there because they want to be there.
You know, and hey, if you are a gas station worker, by all means, if you think you got it, still try out. I'd rather you be a gas station worker than someone that sits on your ass at the house and makes questionable income. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, true.
It's if you have a true job, more power to you. I can speak from experience. The academy is very understanding when it comes to real world work, and that's a testament to their dedication to you, not only as a trainee but as a person. It ties in with that family concept. So
that's right. We don't pull away from your real life, man. You got family and you're doing family, man. We're not going to tell you leave your family, come be with us. You know, we believe family first. Family's important above all. That's what we base our training and the academy around is family first.
So before we wrap this up, man, if you don't mind, could you run down the card for me? What's going to happen Sunday on the 16th? What matches you got lined up?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. In the main event, really, let me tell you this. In my match, I will be facing Cameron Thomas for the heavyweight. We're getting it together. We got a bunch of people wanting to be on this card, but I can tell you this: come to the show. Come check out. They want what the card looks like. Come to the show. We got Suicide showing up. We got people like Cameron Frost. He's gonna make an appearance. Big Country. Wait till you see that guy. We got all these people coming in, Coalition, the Onyx, Marcus Gibbs, and TA, along with their manager, J.J. Smith. We got talent coming in that wants to be there, not because they want to get over, and I'm not talking wrestling, but get over on us, the business, you know.
They want to be there so they can entertain all your asses that are sitting in the seats. Is the reason that they want to be there.
Yep, so they can wrestle.
So that they can wrestle and by God, have some slobber knockers in the middle of the ring. So,
that's damn good.
Well, Champ, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. And by any time you want to come back, by all means, just hit me up, and for sure I'll have you on here. And Chelsea as well. Thank you for your your words of wisdom and advice. And please take it easy on me tomorrow for my Roll Tide comments.
Nope.
So, best of luck to you, champ, on the 16th. I'm sure you're going to bring
Hey.
the title.
Hey,
What's up?
you've been practicing the haka, man?
I have. Hey, I can't not talk about the haka. That is one of the coolest things that the Onyx Academy does is the haka. So, tell us real quick what the haka is and the history behind it.
All right, man. This is bonus material here. I usually don't tell everybody unless they got $1 or $2 to give me to fill up my gas tank. Jokes, by the way. The haka is a Maori, which is the native people of New Zealand, and the Pacific Islands, Samoa, Fiji, Tonga, Tahiti, those islands, where they do war dances or peace dances, depending on how the other takes it, whoever your opponent or your adversary may be, on certain dance movements and certain chants, how they take it, whether or not they take it as a threat or they take it as peace. Then either you're going to war or y'all are feasting together on a bunch of hogs. It was just a savage and native way that they settled things back in the day. Like long back in the day when they slapped each other in the head with like ping pong paddle boards.
Good lord. I don't need any of that, but I mean they do that for football, don't they?
Yeah, they do that for rugby.
Rugby, okay, not football. Rugby.
They do it for rugby, New Zealand, all those islands in the South Pacific. In the South Pacific chains, they usually have their dances. The reason why we do it at XW 2000 Academy is because that brings us all together as a unit before we leave. That brings us all together as a whole. You know, it's like our media guy says, DJ Quake, by the way, throwing him out there. He tells us one sound, man, and that's what we have to be like. We have to be like one sound. We move in one accord and we move in one sound. And at the end of the night, when we do that, that's what it is. It's one sound and one accord.
I like that, and I really relate to that. Being a veteran myself, that's something that I still have instilled in me is, and I complained about it when I was on active duty. The whole, the Air Force is big on one team, one fight, and
Right.
and at the end of the day, that's true. But unfortunately, in the Air Force, most times you hear that is when they put you on 12-hour shifts without any notice. They're like, hey, one team, one fight. So really it means you're all getting punished for something that one person did. But I digress. But I do like the haka. The first time I did it, I felt like Carlton because I have no rhythm. But I'm getting a little bit better at it. So I do like that. It really does bring us all together, and it's camaraderie is the word I'm looking for. So
Right.
So also real quick, and I know I said we're going to wrap this up, but I do have a question here. How proud are you of The Rock? Now I know he's only half black, he's half Samoan. However, he's very vocal about his Samoan heritage. So what are your thoughts on the way The Rock has transcended sports entertainment into being one of the biggest stars in the world, and he still is very proud about his Samoan heritage. He's still proud about his wrestling heritage. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, I'm proud. I'm proud as I can be, man. I'm happy that he represents the Samoan people, the Polynesians in general, not just Samoans, but Polynesians in general, in a way that most wouldn't be able to. I mean, he's on that long list of other famous athletes, Samoan athletes or Polynesian athletes that are doing that. I mean, Troy Polamalu, the great safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
Julius Seau, the late Julius Seau, my favorite player of all time in the NFL. He did the same thing. Jonathan Fanene, all these other players, Jesse Sapolu, these athletes, let me say that, these famous faces and these athletes that put on for the Polynesians and represent us is nothing but love. And The Rock has actually extended that. He took that to a whole nother level with what he does and how he's doing it. From back in the day to now in his travel tattoos to to the way he just dresses and carries himself. Polynesians, we're proud people, man. We put on for our people, regardless if we're named Dwayne Johnson or if you're Mary Sue, the half Samoan, or whatever, who lives in Southern California. We're proud people, and we're proud of what we do and where we come from. We wear that on our shoulders. I mean, I have a Samoan flag in my room, so I have that hanging up, and I love that to this day, and I'll never take it down unless I use it for the show or something. But we're proud people, and I'm very proud, and I'm happy of where he's brought our people for the Polynesians, and it can only get higher. He's done good things for the Samoan community as well as my uncles out there, Chico, and all the other Samoans involved in that. But he's really taken the lead in all of that, and I'm happy.
Well, Champ, I appreciate you coming on the show, man, and I've got to say I see nothing but bright things for you in the future. I think you've got a hell of an upside, a lot of talent, a lot to offer to the business, and on behalf of us trainees, I think I can speak for all of us when we say we appreciate what you're doing for us and what all the trainers are doing for us. It's invaluable, in my opinion. So best of luck to you and everything you do in the future, and you're welcome back on the show anytime, brother.
Yeah, in my Chico voice, man. Brother, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank everybody out there, man. In the interweb out there in space, man. And basketball shorts is what's being worn tomorrow for practice. For those of you that know that punchline, I'll tell you about it later.
Outstanding, man. I thank you so much for coming on the show. We'll talk to you down the road, brother.
Man. Appreciate it, man. This is an opportunity for everybody to brand out, man. Again, I thank you, man. Definitely love to be back, man.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. We'll see you down the road, man.
You know it, brother.
All right. This is, once again, thanks to Polynesian Prince for being on the show here tonight. Once again, tune in next time. We're going to have some big guests coming up. I've got one half of the former XW 2000 Tag Team Champions from the Six City Saints. Sims will be on the show. We'll probably, if I can twist some wrists and ankles and pull some hair and get some people to agree, we'll probably have some of the trainers from the Onyx Academy on the show here coming up soon. And of course, like I said, we're going to have my buddy Wes is going to be on the show. He's not involved in wrestling, however, he's one of my closest friends, and he has volunteered to be on the show. We'll probably talk about things that, some of my other passions, which is anything with the diesel engine. We'll talk our trips to bogs and boulders. We're even going to talk his recent injury, where this dude literally broke his leg. It's not funny, but the circumstances around it is funny. He broke his leg trying to kickstart his dirt bike. We'll get into that and talk about his recovery and where he's at. So until next time, I'm going to get my ass at the gym and try to improve myself. I think I've got shoulders tonight, which is going to suck. But it's better than leg day. But nonetheless, stay tuned, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting the Dustin Briggs Show. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Check out XW2000 on Facebook. Follow me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, the Dustin Briggs. You'll find me on there, I promise. Until next time, we'll see your ass down the road. This has been the Dustin Briggs Show. Take care. Have a good night, y'all. We'll see you next time.